Now you said you guys stayed there in the resort.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the ocean with the resort on the
Oh,
ocean.
it's on the ocean, yeah.
Man, I had a couple coffee down.
Good.
I can't sit down.
Yeah, coffee.
I'm trying to go down. What? What's it's my twin. But that,
Yeah, y'all is trying to.
I stuck into your bed this morning. I was sleeping this morning. All easy comments.
Yeah. It's Beverly, life good? It's gonna be. Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Tim and Jessica Jackson?
Mm-mm.
They were from speaking with they got church in something else now.
They got a church, you said?
We went Pastor Randy. They started a church up in something like this. I go to the church every once in a while. And he sounds so much like Pastor Randy. I used to call Pastor Randy Jr. You can tell him with Pastor Randy's ministry.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be sharing this with them next week.
Oh, good.
I think they've had the church for 7 years, and I'm thinking they really need to have a full-time minister. Over there,
Yes.
I think this would be a means for them to do what they do to get into ministry full time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely need it.
Jessica's an attorney.
Oh, yeah. Some of the skills. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're going to get started and just go over some fun stuff with this housekeeping notes and all that good things. And really, online viewers, welcome. I want you to, because I realize something. When you're watching online, you have multiple screens up on your computer. You got a whole bunch of other things going on. And what we want to make sure you realize is to focus. Because one major key to success is actually focusing on success. And if you mess around and treat your business like a hobby, Well, you got to realize that most hobbies are unprofitable. They just become some emotional tool that has some kind of personal value, but it does not bring financial value. And for us as business owners, we want personal value as well as financial value. Because if you understand the financial value, it increases your personal lifestyle. I know that was good. I'm happy to say that. Sometimes I say things like write that down, too, write that down. But we gotta have the understanding and the drive and the want to, because technically here's this. You meet a lot of people in life who say they want to make more money. And that's crazy because I hear it all the time. And I used to always walk around and ask people, like, I would say trick questions. It's like, if I could show you how to be a millionaire, would you want to do the work? And people will reply back and say, well, it depends on what it is. My answer would be, it's legal. And in the same mindset, once I say it's legal, the only thing a person should reply back is yes. But yet they still are in thought. But as you grow, you grow and you mature a little bit, right? And you look at a recession, you look at all the things and how people want to blame this candidate, blame this president, blame everybody points the finger. And I was talking to an individual yesterday, and I was just hearing this person as they were speaking to me, and she said, I'm ready for my come up too. It's nice to see other people living good, but I'm ready for my come up. And I was like, no, great. And I said, well, what are you doing to come up? Well, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's just time for me to come up. And I'm like, so I'm not God. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you know how the word says sometimes you're entertaining an angel? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, an angel walks up to you and you say, I don't know what I want to do. I just know it's time to come up. Well, what can the angel bless then? Nothing. So you always have to have that personal identification of what you want your life to look like. If you can't personally identify with yourself being successful, then God already knows what he put into you. And this is, business training. I'm just speaking on how God has already gave you the tools. We just enhancing it and saying, all right, y'all, let's go. But once you get the true foundation of what we have, then something inside of you, if you get like me, you almost get mad, and that's why I said, you know what, it's a passion, it's not anger, because I'm not mad at any particular one, you know what I mean? When you got passion, you're passionate about something, you speak with a little more authority. The word says a rich man speaks roughly, and you get it now. It's like, why? Because the passive people sit back, well, I just want the Lord to just put a little something on my table for me to eat. But the rich man is like, this is what I want. It needs to be happy here by this time. You're like, yo, I get it. We got to be in a mood, in the spirit, in a growth mindset. And then we must be committed to the actions that it takes to gain financial freedom or security or however you want to look at it. So who, by a show of hands here today, truly can identify with themselves living a greater lifestyle? See, your hands got to pop up like, hey, it's got to go up like that. It's like you're almost a Nazi. Your hands, when if you ever look at them, I like old movies. So I watch old movies, and, I was watching one of them ones, it's old war movies, and them cats were still like, and I'm like, man, their hands went up like crazy. And I'm like, who wants to be successful? What? You got to be wild like that. Who wants wild life for themselves? Get it right. You got to be that kind of mentality and then be so crazy about it that you take somebody out if they get your way. But don't take nobody out. It's got to get you. You grab hold to a system and then you get your passion. And, for me, I'm a very goal-oriented person. Okay? And when I see my goals not being hit, and I had some time on my own this last week, more than I usually have in a day, where I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, let's play with some numbers. Let's look at here. And I realized that I was starting to get angry. I'm like, man, we are not nowhere as close to the goal that I had for us to be at this particular time. And here I am, the author of Schedule for Success. And I'm like, we need to schedule a little tighter and be a little more aggressive on our schedules. You gonna follow me? And then I realized that, you know what? If I didn't have passion for it, I'd have played one of these games like, well, you know, if God want me to have it, it'll happen. You know, and then you just don't be committed. And that's what uncommitted people do. They'll always find a default line to say, you know, well, if it's for me, then it'll happen. You know what? Y'all know gravity exists, right?
Yes, sir.
We can all level. Gravity does exist. So, what if, when the Wright brothers and whoever else who was creating airplanes and everything else, brother, that went on the ground longer than 3 seconds, I'll still eat it. You know about you, that's a good blueberry muffin. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna throw away some goodness now. That thing costs money. You're gonna eat that blueberry muffin. I'm sitting there talking to you about budgeting and not hitting our numbers. Oh, you're gonna eat that muffin today. You don't understand what I'm saying? That's passion. You understand? I got people that are passionate for me work. Don't y'all waste nothing. I'm watching everything. I'm talking to spoons on the table, everything. This is business, y'all get it? No, I'm playing now. Real, keep it simple for yourself. And nobody will talk about you. You know, a homeless man, he'd be like, give me this. But understand, gravity exists, right? Can y'all, if I jump up, boom, I came back down. Is it safe to say that gravity also, in many areas, was defied? I was on a plane flight for 6 hours, 30, 40,000 feet in the air. So when I'm up, you ain't got to eat, man. You don't know. There's another one over there. Don't let me play with you. He's like, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. It's only get the brother another blueberry muffin. You know, get the brother another. We live in a land of abundance, more than enough. You waste one, you get a second chance. That's repenting, I'm repenting. You know, but once you get this, y'all get the whole concept that gravity exists. Somebody created something to defy gravity. Y'all get this? So people are going to say in life, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. I don't know. It's like, you know what? What if the guys that created jetpacks, anything like that, that would elevate you to the sky, helium balloons, all of that? What if they done took on the mindset to say, we're not supposed to fly. We're not supposed to go that far in the air. We're not supposed to propel ourselves from this area to that area. The same thing that would take a person on a ship to 2 weeks, you can do it in 7 or 8 hours on a plane. Do you see this? So we have to realize this, that everything we have is here, but you must be willing to defy all sense of gravity, which says, you know, you need to live at this level. Who said that? Defy that stuff and say, you know what? No, I'm going to get more jetpacks behind me. I'm going to find out how to fly. I'm going to do the right necessary things, get the right necessary tools so that I can still get on the moon if that's where I want to go. Y'all seen that man jump out that balloon to go faster, you know, but at one time, understand this, he went Mach 1. He went faster than the speed of sound on a free fall. You know, at one time he said that was impossible. You get this? You are only going to function to your level of understanding. The unfortunate thing is some people have understanding in the name and the tune of PhDs. So if it's beyond their thinking, then they'll say it can't be done. But then someone several years later comes in and jumps out of a tube and does a free fall and now has the world record and he's walking around healthy and all. Whereas y'all see him when he was spinning, going into a free fall and everything. If you would have 30 years ago, they'd have said that's impossible to do. So now let's take you personally. Are you ready to go faster than the speed of sound?
Absolutely.
See, you have something that can take you where you want to go faster. It may take you through some whirlwinds. You may get all tossed up and around, but when you land, next thing you know, you are a sensational news story. Don't take your business, don't take your personal life, don't take your growth where you can be for granted. We do have the real deal. Now, I get the privilege of bringing up a senior director who's blowing this up and who gets it very well. Y'all welcome Mr. Chow Lei.
I want to get down. I want to get serious this morning. So first thing I want you to do, I want to picture your lives. I want you to picture and really focus on your lives right now. If you don't have something to write with, get something to write with. Okay, I want you to take great notes this morning because we're going to talk about wealth building. All right? Before we even start, I want you to start thinking about the joy in your life. All right? How I was raised, how I grew up was joy stands for Jesus, others, then yourself. Okay, so I want you to think about, well, I want you to think about Jesus. Those that have a faith in Jesus, think about him anyways, right? And then I want you to think about the other people in your life. And then I want you to think about yourself. All right? In that order. In that order. I want you to think about it. Because the moment you leave today, you're going to walk in that life that you're thinking about. Right? So I'm going to write this down as everyone's figuring out who has pens and paper and things like that to write with. Think about financial freedom. And throughout training this morning, I want you to think about what those two words mean to you. Because we're talking about wealth. Okay? This mysterious word that people seem to have different interpretations of what wealth is, right? It's not something that you just kind of grab your hands on. It's not like it's a lot like love, right? You talk about wealth, I want to talk about the lifestyle. The lifestyle of being wealthy. The lifestyle, right? It's not something you just get one time. It's what you live out. That's why I'm saying that as soon as you leave this door, that's the life that you should be living. Okay? When you go to the gym and you work out, it isn't necessarily to make your body look the way you want it to look. It's the way you live when you have that body. When you think about, hey, I want to make money, it's not about making the money. It's about the lifestyle that you can live with that money, right? The relationships you choose to have, right? It's the lifestyle, what comes with it. So the wealth, right? So when you focus on the word wealth and the lifestyle that comes with it, right? I want you to forget about the whole thing of notion of making money. I want you to think about a system, right, that creates money, because you can't make money, right? The government does that. Somewhere along the line, somebody central bank makes money. Unless you want to make your own currency and somehow impact this world so much where they utilize your currency, you cannot make money, right? You can build systems, right, that move money in the direction that you want it to go, right? And for a long time, that's what I said. Like when people ask Child, what do you do as an entrepreneur? I said, I move money. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I can't create money when I can't make money. So what I do is I just move money. If I want a car, I move money in that direction. If I want a house, I move money in that direction, right? I want to go on vacation, I move money in that direction. So what system are you moving money towards, right? That system that is going to grow your money, make your money work for you, all right? I see some young folks in the room today, all right? Or at least a young mindset, whatever one comes first. When you think about money, you go out and you make money. You work hard, you work hard, you work hard, you work hard. I see a lot of people working hard, okay? And I don't know why they think that simply working hard means making more money. Because I've seen people put in 40 hours, making 6-7 figures, and people working 40 hours getting a check for less than $1,000. Right? There's no rhyme or reason in that other than one person believed they can make 6-7 figures in the same 40 hours that the other person worked. So what system are you putting your money towards? Right? So if you're just out working hard, making money, then to go out and acquire some liability, like a car, right? Like a car that doesn't pay you anything back, you might utilize it for something, but it doesn't appreciate in value over time, right? If you're going to invest in a system, invest in yourself. Invest in a business that's going to constantly grow that money when you step away from it. So you don't have to focus so much time on the whole essence of making money. Because I look at my time and my schedule, I have 13 hours remaining in my 168-hour week. You hear that in training, 13 hours left for spontaneity, for things that come up. You know, all my other hours are accounted for. But those 13 hours come at odd times. people aren't awake, yet, or people have already gone to sleep. So those 13 hours, I fill it up, but outside of that, there are things. So let's move on with this, right? Because there's more to life than just the money, because the money provides you options. You look at that, you have wealth, health, and happiness, or health, wealth, and happiness. It goes in that order. Because you have all the money you want. If your health is crap, you're going to die soon anyways. You can't enjoy it, right? So get yourself into better health. It's a whole lifestyle. And your happiness, this thing you're running on, it's constant, right? So when you go in after looking at all these things that you acquire material things, if those things are gone, are you still happy? Because those are the core things. Because if you're only happy when those physical things are in front of you, it's not happiness, it's pleasure. It gives you pleasure to have that. But if you can take it away and it's not in your presence, and you're still happy, that's what true happiness is. So when we talk about lifestyle, right, what's your style? What do you know? What do you know? If you know the exact same thing you knew yesterday and what you knew last year or the year before that, something's got to change. Education isn't just in the formal sense where you go to school, right? Inside a building, classroom that teach. If you're not learning something, when I have a problem when people are saying that colleges aren't necessary. I have a problem with that because we fought for a long time to have college education and higher education. Right? I went to school and got a fantastic education. The thing is with that is when students go to college without an objective, without a skill set they want to acquire, what they acquire is general knowledge. That's why the first 4 years of your college education is your generals, right? Your generals. I took my generals, almost all of those classes, towards the end. Because I knew what I wanted to get into, and I got into my major right away. Because general knowledge is just general knowledge. You need focused knowledge into what you're doing in order to really build a system and make money. Because think about it. You got out of college, right? And most of us went to a job. That job had a different training protocol for you to work that job, right? And you're like, why would I go to college for? For a lot of businesses, they simply utilize college because they understand that most college students go there not knowing what they want to do. They utilize and correlate with, okay, so if you didn't know what to do, but you knew that you wanted to go to college and acquire more general knowledge, did you have the focus and consistency to make it through? And what was your GPA at that point? Because if you can do it there, I can train you at this job and then make it work. So now, if you are a business owner and you're looking at yourself, right, and you know that you have the focus and consistent follow-through in your own life, what is it that you're willing to do? What is it that you're willing to learn in order to build the system that's going to create you the wealth that you want? Think about that real quick. You are your own boss. You are also your own worst and best employee. What are you going to train yourself? When people pause it this morning, who do you know? Who do you know in your life? They say that your income is the average of your 5 friends that you spend the most time with. Okay? A lot of people take this in the negative side. They go, oh man, my friends don't know that much. No, they don't know that much about creating wealth. When we say this, don't say go and get rid of all your friends. That's not what that means. It's like, oh man, I don't want to go to business training. They're saying I can't be friends with my mom. I can't be friends with my dad. Can't be friends with my brother. We're not saying that. It's the time. How much time are you spending with people who know about wealth and wealth building that you're spending time with? Because what they know, right, is eventually going to be what you know. Ideas are pretty much free. It's just you share it back and forth, right? You share it back and forth all day long. So what do you know? And who do you know? Where do you reside? We can't ignore the fact that eventually our environment starts to get us, right? Starts to get us. If you're around me for a while, you hear me say for a long time, my perspective on money was that my mother worked and got paid $2 an hour. And we lived in Section 8 housing. So at the time when we lived in Section 8 housing, I thought the best thing to do was to eventually get a job that paid $30,000, which then I learned real quick that it wasn't enough, and I couldn't figure it out at that point. It's like, how come everything that I've learned so far isn't enough? Is it enough to live the life that was promised to you? That's why you go back to, what do I know? And who do I know? Why do you eat?
Good question.
I didn't ask what do you eat. I didn't ask when do you eat. I didn't ask where do you eat. I'm asking, why do you eat? To stay alive. That's survival. Now let's talk about life. You eat for energy. You eat for energy. No, you're absolutely right. You eat to stay alive, right? A lot of people right now are fighting to eat just to stay alive, just to get back to par. I'm asking, why do you eat? When you think about that, the next time you put something in your mouth, if you're thinking about getting in better health, I want you to think about, why are you eating what you're eating? And if consistently you tell yourself, I'm eating this because I need energy to accomplish this. Now you're going to ask yourself, is throwing down a Whopper going to provide you with that energy? Right? Is consistently drinking an energy drink when you should be scheduling more time to sleep, right, and eat right, going to get you the energy that you need? Why are you eating what you're eating? This is a balanced lifestyle. I want you to think about that. Now you think about it like, man, if I just think about it that way, maybe I won't put such things in my mouth. When do you retire? And when I say retire, retire in a sense where you don't have to get up anymore. There are many of us in this room, and I hope it's everybody, that you will never retire. Because I believe when you retire, you expire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when you get up, and all your time, and all of your time is devoted to what you want to do. And not just financial. Okay? When do you retire? That's the who, what, when, where, why, every single business. Oh, wait a minute. How do you see yourself? When I asked all those questions, did you immediately jump to the negative side, or did you zone in on what I said this morning? Focus on the joy in your life. Focus on the positive things in your life. How do you see yourself? When you leave this door, are you focusing on all of your problems and what your condition is right now? Or did you focus in on the person that is extremely wealthy? You, extremely wealthy, and you walk around. Because if that's the person, what you know is different than right now. What you will know is different than right now, right? Who you will know is different than right now. Where you live will definitely change. It will definitely change. Why you eat will change. And when you retire will change. All those things. But if you can't see that person that is wealthy, you're not going to commit yourself to that person. Because who commits themselves to absolutely nothing? Nobody does that. Nobody commits themselves to absolutely nothing. So breaking down your business. That's what those questions, when I look at a business, that's what I ask. Who, what, when, where, and why. Okay? Sometimes one of those questions doesn't, like, one of those words doesn't apply. But for the most part, you can break down your business and take a look at that. When you leave here today, I want you to know that JMG is a part of your life. If going through all of that, if JMG doesn't constantly come up in your schema of thinking, your way of thinking, it's not ingrained in your way of thinking, that's going to happen. You're going to lack a whole bunch of direction and ask all these questions that has nothing to do with building a JMG system that makes you money. Right? So who is JMG? It's a cutting-edge marketing company. committed to liberation through entrepreneurship. So when people ask you, what's JMG? What's JMG? We're a cutting-edge marketing company, right? What? What does JMG do? Right now, we market My Financial Worth product. 4 things: tax return and preparation, daily budgeting, debt payoff, credit monitoring, and restoration. This is your business. I've said this before. This is your toolbox. Learn how to use those tools. If you're saying right now, well, I'm not a specialist in, financial tools and stuff, you have financial consultants that's available to you 24/7. You just call them up, ask them all the questions. Just call up and say, I don't know anything about finances. And they'll start you out somewhere. This is your tools. Learn how to use it. Oh, and the why of JMG. You pull out the vision. Here we want to create more financially free families than any other company. Using our My Financial Worth products and our services, right? To help educate and create a brighter future. That's why we do this. Then you back up and say, why are we doing this? Because when I think about, my consulting finance business, when I think about my JMG business, all this is systems basically for me to kind of back away when I have my 10 kids so that I can attend all the games that are coming up, all the karate lessons that come up, right? All the broken bones that come up. Oh man, because they'll come up. For me to have time to teach my kids how to grow systems so they don't have to fear money anymore. Because for a lot of people, money just goes out, just gets in one hand and then goes out the other immediately. So they don't fear that anymore. So their time isn't spent trying to make money. They have systems to do that. Yeah, billion-dollar company. Billion-dollar company. I just want to write all those zeros and commas out so you just see it. So you see it real quick. Sometimes when we spell it out, it isn't the same thing. $1 billion. Does that accommodate you?
Yeah.
This is a system. When I see $1 billion, when Paulie Jones is $1 billion, when William Block is $1 billion, I don't think of $1 billion made one time and gone. It's a system that consistently kicks out $1 billion. If we made $1 billion this year, we better make more than that. If it's good business, better make 1.2 next year.
That's right.
It better make $1.2 billion next year. It's $1 billion. Whatever you want can be accommodated in this number if you accommodate yourself in this number. And how do we do it? Step 1, step 2. That's it. Easy 2-step system. That's what I say. Easy 2-step system for entrepreneurs to create successful entrepreneurs. And when they say that, I'm like, come on now. Because I understand that people have a perception of what I say and how I say things. Right? I just want to remove myself and go, here are the other leaders. Explain. And then afterwards, I can answer all the questions if they want to. But I like to hear from a different perspective, how it's changing somebody else. Because when people hang around you and they see you and they hear you all the time, for whatever reason, they put you in this box, and everything that's in that box is what works, right? But every day, you should be constantly changing, so you're finding out new information. So you have leaders in the company. Utilize those resources. Oh boy, who's that? So I discovered down in Mexico, when you're really, really hot, that the Middle East, when they put those things over your head, I was like, how in the world? I'm allergic to sunscreen. So I put that little do-rag over my head, tied a bandana on it, put some water on it once in a while, and it kept me really cool. But John, why do you put on this picture? What do you put in this picture? I drew this. That last picture was that. It involves 3 other people. Went down to Mexico. We had to make these bricks ourselves, right? Here we go and buy bricks. We made the bricks. We built schools, and we built houses for people with the Hope Foundation. Before we even showed up, the phone rings.
Wow.
Before we even show up on the site, this family has spent a year with other families who successfully learned the principles of money. They saved the money. Because down in third or second world countries is microlending. Interest is very high. There really is no lending, right? And they want to have their dream house. So they spend the entire year learning how to save money, learning how to invest money. So when they make enough money, they buy all the materials. And we go down as labor. And we help build the house. My question when I got down there, I was like, we have 20 people. We're sitting here making bricks. I can call a couple of people. We can have bricks show up that actually probably cost less than what we're making these bricks for right now. I can get some heavy machinery in here, and we can have this type of house literally built within the week. Within the week, they can have their house. He goes, but what would you have learned about the person standing next to you? We have this thing in the U.S. where we want everything to happen so fast. Right. And as soon as he said that, I got rocked back. I was like, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I handed a bucket so many times I lost count of, have you ever held a bucket filled with half cement? It's really heavy after a while. Yeah. Right? If you carry it from there to there, you wouldn't make it a quarter day, forget half a day. Your back would start getting sore. Now I keep myself in great shape. I would be really, 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 really sore. Those guys, we lined up in a line and all we did was hand it like this. And the entire time we just spoke about what was going on. We spoke about our lives. And it kept going. And it kept going. And the families that we're building the houses for come up and we have a meal. We broke bread. And we learned about each other. Fortunately, I know Spanish, so you know, I can get my little crazy stuff, but I learned a little more about the family. But then we start sharing that information, sharing more of the information. And then over a week, 2 weeks worth of time, this house goes up. All that labor went into building this house. And then we made it a home. The families at the end come out, we share another meal. And they're literally in tears because this year of learning, of growing, learning how to manage your finances, buying the materials, having people, just strangers come in and become a family, learn how to love each other, and build a home. You're 3 people. You're going to go out somewhere, you're going to find them right away. It took me 26 years to find my wife. There are, and your thing is like, you know what? It's like, I want to approach big presidents of companies and all that and talk about J&G, but who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Mm-hmm. I used to, at one time in my life, ask who am I to approach a woman and say, I want to be in your life. I want you to be my lady. Mm-hmm. And thought that all these things, and you felt all these things that are insecure about yourself. Couldn't stand in front of a room to talk to all of you because when you look at me, it makes me shake. But it isn't all about me. The reason why my wife is with me is because I've loved her and I continue to love her more than any other man chooses to love her. Your theory, like, man, what this guy's talking about? Talking about. Your business is 3 other people. You duplicate this. This is your system. Thank you, Paula Jones, for teaching me that. That is your system, right there. I don't care, senior codes and executive senior codes, all that happens. You master this, right there. Are you willing to love your 3 people, your 3 franchises, your 3 business owners more than any other person? Because these 3 might be great people. But if you don't focus on them, and you don't focus on yourself as well, so that you're prepared to receive these people, other people are going to court them all the time. And you're going to lose them. Financial freedom. What does that mean to you? Now I'm going to reverse that. There's a reason why I started out with children. Right? After you confess, what you want, you put it out there to the good old Jesus. Others. What's financial freedom? What does financial freedom mean to them? What does that mean to your three? Because if you're constantly thinking, my financial freedom is to make $5,000 a month, and then these guys I want $1 million a month. This guy wants $100 million a month. And then this guy wants $5,000 a month. Guess where your mindset's at? Guess what happens to the other two?
They go somewhere else.
They get courted by somebody else. Isn't it time to start learning something? Isn't it time to start seeing yourself wealthy? Isn't it time to start seeing your JMG business as a big business? Because these numbers here, a month, they're not small numbers. They are not small numbers. So when you start thinking about others than just the good old person up here, there's a whole support staff that you're going to need. That's why I said all those other things about being a business owner is like flipping to the business owner mind and staying there and staying there. Because you're going to need a school team of teammates that are either a part of this business or just assisting you to communicate with these three, because these two are going to have a team of 20, 30, 40 people, right? Just to answer phone calls, to talk to your 20, 30, 40 people. Now, see, you guys see this real quick. Let's get this thing out of the way, and so you can see this. Welcome to the life business, because when we walk into a stadium and you have these three people, when these three people, we go into a stadium and you see these little tickets you see in building seminars, believe you me, I'm going to be blowing it up on that stage. And I blow it up on stage. There's going to be a whole bunch of people drawn to that type of energy, because it's not anger that drives me. It's a passion and intensity that pierces through whatever doubt you have. Try me right now. Try me right now. Talk about JMG in a negative fashion. You can't. You can't think about it in a negative fashion, because my intensity overcomes anything that you can present. And what that type of energy does, what type of that intensity that does, is pierces through doubt, not only in this room, but outside this room. Because I know my energy left a long time ago, going out there, reaching out to people I don't know yet. And when they show up in that stadium, and I rock it, because Jesus gave me that gift. I rock it, right? Speak. And I rock it, and all strangers come in, all of a sudden, they need a home. Who do they want a house with? The $1 million a month guy, the $100 million a month guy, the $5K guy a month. There's nothing wrong with that. What does financial freedom mean to others? Because if it's just that, where are they going? Whoop, whoop. Are you that guy? Are you that woman? Are you that person? You're not smiling. You're not smiling and saying, you guys ready to get intense?
Yes, sir.
You ready to focus on your business? Say yeah.
Yes, sir.
Say I'm intense.
I'm intense.
Say I'm a wealthy business owner.
I'm a wealthy business owner.
When I leave this room, I will remain a wealthy business owner.
When I leave this room, I will remain a wealthy business owner.
Well, in that case, next person I'm going to hand you off to is Brother William Lockett, because all he's about is a wealthy business owner.
Right.
So
I don't know about y'all, but y'all smoke. So we start walking around talking about I dare somebody. I'm like, you got quiet up in here. How's everybody doing this morning?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how y'all doing this morning? Y'all
Good.
woke up this morning, you got breath in your body. Today is a new day. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I have those moments in the morning, throughout the day actually. And I had one of those moments this morning. I don't know about you, but sometimes, certain scriptures just stick out. They remain in my spirit. And if I really have a question about it, I never really say it because I'm still trying to figure it out. And for years, I've been trying to figure out that scripture that talks about a wise man, counts the cost first. And I really didn't understand it because I'm sitting there like, okay, the scripture says that a wise man sits down and counts the cost before he builds, so that he has enough to complete the project. But then I'm sitting like, well, where does faith come in? Because I know every project I done started, I didn't sit down and count no costs because I didn't have nothing to count. But I had faith. And so I never really used that scripture because I really didn't understand it. Well, this morning I got a clear understanding. And that is that you have to sit down and count the cost. We're, as Childish spoke on, business owners, right? When you're actually pursuing the route course of becoming a business owner, there's other things you have to consider other than just money. You have to figure out whether or not you have everything that is necessary, needed in order to complete the journey. So it's not only finances, but it's also faith. Have you counted the cost regarding your faith, your relationships? Because when you're on that faith journey, sometimes it's a lonely journey because those that go along with you don't understand. So are you going to be able to complete the project in the face of adversity when those closest to you are doubting you? So it's not just money that you have to consider. There's other factors involved when you're building. And that's what we're doing here through JMG. We're building. We're building not only our JMG business, but we're building our future. Do you have everything within yourself that you need in order to complete the task? See, we always talk about the two different mindsets, the business owner and the employee mindset. An employee mindset won't even consider the other factors because the employee mindset is only focused on working those 40 hours and getting that paycheck for those 40 hours. Because they can't see putting in time, working, and they can't get a direct return from it. So that's why you have to have a business owner mindset in order to be successful in this business and successful in being an entrepreneur, period. And that's what qualified us to be able to stand here before you guys and teach you these principles, because we're those individuals that sat down and counted the cost, that it wasn't just about money, but it was also about other areas in your lives. And because we were able to actually conquer and overcome those areas, become successful at it, has now put us in a position that we can teach others. So if you're here this morning and you're of a different mindset, that there's something that you want more out of life that currently you're just not getting, then what you need to do is pay close attention. And we're not going to tell you something that's not true, because we have a higher court to answer to, okay? Mainly God. And we have to look in the mirror and face ourselves. You know, it's a thing that we understand and how real and how powerful this business is. So when we show a number like $1 billion, that's just not a number that we pulled out the sky. We understand, we know that there's other companies that are billion-dollar companies, plural, multi-billion-dollar companies that offer the same services, some of the same services. But there's no company that offer all of the services that we do at the price point that we offer what we offer. So therefore, we know that we have something that is needed, something that's being used, and something that is powerful. But what is going to make the difference to get us from where we're at to become that billion-dollar company? Brother Paulie just shared with us this morning that, he was, away for a while, for a week, and looking at where we're at. You have to schedule in your life what it is that you want out of life. And I'm one that, I own a, treatment program. I have people constantly at me. I have a JMG business. I have a family. So I have all these things and I'm juggling. And as a result of that, my time has to be scheduled for the things that I do. And if someone tells me that they're going to meet me at a certain place at a certain time and they don't show up, they may give me the first time, but I'm not going to allow them to hijack my schedule another time, because you have to schedule yourself. This past week, my brother Paulie was gone for the last 2 weeks, actually. So I had to prepare for Wednesday Bible studies, Saturday's training, on top of the other things. So now I had to really look at my schedule so that I had to force myself to sit down to prepare myself. So in the course of that, you begin to see when people say that they don't have enough time, they're too busy. It's a matter of what you see as a priority in your life, that you're willing to niche out some time. That meant that I had to walk away from watching the football game to go prepare for my Tuesday or my Saturday. But I had the time, but I just had to have, put value on it in order to give it a priority to make it work. So again, a lot of people with an employee mindset, they see that 40-hour-a-week job as the value, but they're not living the lives that they truly desire. But then they don't want to niche out any additional time to do anything different, but then go through the same routine day after day, week after week, and just be stressed out, frustrated. So what we offer is a solution. What we offer is to do something in conjunction with what you're doing. Last Tuesday, I shared an article that I had printed off of the internet. One person was making, $40,000 a year, but then when they really looked at it, it was dwindled down to like $28,000 because of all of the expenditures coming out of their pay. But the reality of it is that they were living a lifestyle like at $40,000. So we can see the frustration why people say that, ends just are meeting. So that's a lot of people's reality. So we're not suggesting that people quit the job, but position yourself. That if you're subscribed of an entrepreneur mindset, that you really put yourself in a position to win rather than just talking about it. See, that's what we're about here, is action. We're about results. Because you don't become successful in life without putting some action behind it. Because then you just become part of the masses. Everybody talking about what shoulda, coulda. I remember back when. No, I don't want to, recall old days. I want to create new memories. I want to live an exciting life every day. I want to be doing something, that I enjoy on a daily basis. I look so good and so young because I don't stress.
That's right.
I have children older than some of y'all in here, most of y'all in here. But I don't look it because I don't stress about life. Period. Because I understand that life was meant to be enjoyed. Now, Child said some great things. Let's give Child a round of applause. Because Child is so passionate and committed about building and helping people that you just sense it about it. And he said some key things this morning. And when you're talking about, trying to build a team, you have to begin with you. You have to know why you're in this. What motivates you? Because that is the key. That you have to understand yourself before you can help somebody else understand themselves in order to grow and build your team and your business. So that's what I want to touch on this morning. And that is, I changed the motto of my group to Team Up to Wins. Because I understand that the only way that I win is to serve somebody else to help them win. So the concept of teaming up, meaning that we come together to help each other win. It's not I just want myself to focus on my own success. No, I want to pour into somebody else to help the other individual to become successful. Because I'm here. So the $100 million mindset is here.
Right.
So the problem is if you get people that only got $500. If I just make extra $1,000 a month, I'm okay. Well, I don't have just hopeful dreams without doing something to make a reality out of it, right? So I understand if I partner up with somebody who only wants to make $100 a month, $500 a month, then this is just a pipe dream. So therefore, it's about expanding your mindset. What has put that limitation on you to say that, you know what, I'm only worth an additional $500 to $1,000 a month? Who put that cap on you? Read the book. Who told you you broke? Because it's all about expanding your mindset. Because if you don't see yourself, achieving at a greater level, if you don't see within yourself as being worthy of living on a greater level, guess what? You're not going to do the work necessary even to make it halfway towards there. So therefore, it becomes nothing but empty wishes and dreams. We're about reality here. We're about living the lifestyle. Everything about this company, network, lifestyle is about reality. It's about creating the reality that you desire out of life. So let's get into this. How to build a team. Using vision, commitment, and trust. Start with your ability to relate. Every possibility from landing the contract to the romantic evening hinges on your ability to relate. But neither profit nor pleasure are the primary motivation for teamwork. This seems like a recap of what Child just went over. It's so funny. We almost dressed alike today. Brother Paulie got the memo, but he got it for the wrong color. But it's because our spirits are connected. We don't get together and talk about what you're going to train on this week. But it always seems to tie in to what everybody's talking about. That's not just coincidence. That's by design. See, that's why I said that $1 billion number just isn't a number out of the air. This is by design that this company is created to become a $1 billion corporation. Okay? So productive teamwork moves you towards challenge, through change, with more confidence. Working well on any team generates energy and enthusiasm for life. Some are more skilled than others. This ability is learned. You do not need complex interaction formulas. You don't have to be easygoing, well-educated, hard-nosed, or even, specially intelligent to build a team. I beg you. You don't have to be anything other than yourself. You can be efficient with people using common sense and a few fundamental principles. When I first started in this business, I didn't know anything about building teams. I really wasn't concerned about building teams because I was an entrepreneur. I was sole proprietor. So I didn't have to build teams. I always testify to the fact that my personality was one that, if I brought somebody in to do some work and they weren't qualified, I would have to go back and redo the work and still pay it. So therefore, I learned to do it all myself because I didn't want to deal with that frustration and stress. So therefore, I didn't have the team building principles necessary in order to be successful in this industry because this is the people business. So therefore, we have to learn how to deal with people and bring out the better qualities out of people. So if you haven't been trained in that area, don't worry about it because it begins with you. You have to have a desire in yourself to change, to do better. But guess what begins to happen? It begins to spill over in all the areas of your life because you've always had the leadership qualities, but you never were in the environment that brought about those qualities out of yourself. Maybe because you feared it, you always remained in the shadows. So therefore, we're going to shine some light on you. We're going to say, you know what? You have gifts and talents. And we want to help to, cultivate those gifts and talents. So we're going to put you in a scenario because we respect you as a business owner. So you're not an employee. You're not our employees. You're co-laborers in this. So therefore, we want to help develop you because we have to develop ourselves as well. I don't enjoy speaking in front of people, but because I've been a part of JMG now for 3 years, over 3 years, I've learned to become more comfortable in talking in front of people. But I also realized before this that the people making the money was the people up front. But I allowed my fears to keep me in the shadows, which put a cap on my ability to produce. But then once I faced that fear and removed that cap and became a leader in the company, then my business began to grow. So never fear, speaking to people, getting in front of people. We're not going to bite you. They're not going to bite you. Worst thing they can do is tell you no. But guess what begins to happen when you begin to face your fear and objection? Something on the inside of you sparks and come alive. Now you want to learn how to overcome those objections because you no longer fear facing them. Then it helps you become stronger and more confident and better in building your business, okay? Y'all wake up this morning. Y'all want to make some money or what?
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't want to talk to no broke spirit people. You know, like pulling teeth. You know, when I say something, I expect you to respond. I don't fear you. I just told you that. Okay, number one, vision. Vision means being able to excite the team with large desired outcomes. Does $1 billion excite you? Huh?
It does.
Okay, now I want you to move beyond excitement to reality. Now we done got your attention with $1 billion. It ain't enough just to say $1 billion. Don't you want the lifestyle that comes along with earning that kind of income? You personally may not, but you're a part of $1 billion system. So that means that the crumbs, the scrapes off $1 billion is still millions.
Yeah.
So what type of lifestyle can you see yourself living off of millions of dollars? So let's move beyond excitement to reality by doing the work that is required in order to make it a reality. And that's what we're talking about this morning. Because when you're building a team, you're building a team of individuals that need to be working.
That's right.
So large outcomes mean devising goals that attract visionaries. The first step in vision is to project such a goal. This goal must be bigger than a paycheck. It must contain challenge, appeal to personal pride, provide an opportunity to make a difference and know it. Then the goal can become a powerful vision. I've always said we're on the mission field. This is the mission that we're on. And that is truly, as the mission of this company, is to change and impact the lives of more families than any other company on this planet. That's our mission, to truly help people live the lives that they was created to live. That is our passion. And we're looking for some other individuals that aren't selfish. I actually met an individual that told me he didn't care about what other people did, that he was more concerned about his own income. But here you telling me that you want to be wealthy.
Right.
There's no way that you can create wealth without helping somebody else. It's just impossible. Because if you don't have it within yourself already, then you're going to have to depend on other people to bring their resources to add to yours to either purchase your product or, support your service, whatever it is. But the only way that you make money in this country is through commerce. That you have to have something to exchange with somebody else. That's the only way that you make money. So therefore, you have to learn how to deal with other people. So if you're telling me that you're selfish and you want to be wealthy, you have the wrong spirit, the wrong mindset. I'm looking for individuals to say, you know what? I want to help somebody else to become wealthy. Because in the process, by you serving and helping somebody else, you'll become wealthy as well. So next, team leaders position the goal by picturing success. Initial questions might be, what will it look like when you get there? What will success be like, feel like? How will others know? When a large missionary-friendly goal has been pictured and clearly communicated, the vision is complete. You always have to incorporate. When Brother Paulie told me about the vision, I accepted the vision as my vision. I took it and made it personally responsible for me to help bring about the vision. The Word of God says that the vision is given to one, but then we endeavor. So therefore, you have to incorporate other people and they have to accept the vision as their own, because in this illustration right here, if your vision is only 5,000, but their vision is greater than yours, it's not going to work together. It's like oil and water. It may work with this individual, but it's not going to work with the whole group, because you're not going to be motivated to do the work as a $1 million a month producer or $100 million a month producer. So your conversation ain't gonna be the same. You'll begin to hold them back because they're like, well, we don't have to do that. We don't have to work so hard because your needs are already being met. So therefore, we have to expand on our vision and our thinking. Now, maybe you're not accustomed to it. Maybe you're not used to it. But that's why you get into a new environment, because you want some different results for your lives, right? Do you think it's just by coincidence that you're sitting here listening to what I'm saying? Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you have maybe you had a thought in your life where you said, you know what, I believe that I'm worth more. But you never really had the proper vehicle or opportunity. So I'm here today to tell you that now is the time. Now the question is whether or not you recognize it as a time and whether or not you're willing to put some work behind the opportunity and make it a reality. That's on you. Only thing we're telling you is that it's capable, it's possible, and we're doing it. Number 2, commitment. Commitment can be a dangerous concept because it's intelligent or intended assumption. Some may assume, for example, that commitment means long hours, while to others it may mean productivity. When expectations are defined, success rates soar. When leaders assume that everyone should be committed as a matter of course, we overlook the difficulties many have with certain commitments. I'm so guilty of this one. I have to admit it. I am. Because I don't see myself as no different than anybody else. And when I see something, I expect everybody else sees the same thing.
Right.
So if I tell you something is working, that it produces, and you telling me that you're looking to receive, I naturally assume that you're going to make the same commitment and do the same thing.
That's right.
I failed in that area. I failed in that area because everybody doesn't think the same. And because I don't see myself as no special, no different than anybody else, that's why I assumed it. Because I figured that if I can do it, you can do it. But that's the difference. That's the difference. That's why everybody doesn't do what everybody does or get what they have. That's why everybody doesn't live the lifestyle that I live.
That's right.
It's available, but they're not willing to go through the process. Like it said, the scripture about counting the cost. See, it was a great cost associated with living the life that I live. Pain, loss, separation, sacrificing family and friends and, loved ones. So it is a price that comes with success. But if you have something in you that is screaming to come out, for you to not answer that call is suicide. So it may come at a strain, but at the end of the day, relationships come and go. But my seed, my children, that's what's going to last. That's what I'm doing this for the next generation. Child said about his 10 kids. He mentioned karate. Well, I've shared a story about when I was a child and my father couldn't afford to send me to karate. But now my son's in karate. And the other day while we were at karate school, my daughter says, I want to take karate. Now, if it was a financial strain, I would have came up with all kinds of excuses why no. Well, you're already doing dance. You're already doing this. You don't need to do karate. This is for your brother. No, I said, okay, well, let's go. Signed her up. Now she's in karate also. And she's loving it. She's actually doing better than my son because she's been in dance all of these years so she can kick higher.
Yeah.
But I said, it only makes sense because every day that I take him to karate, she's there with me.
Right.
So she might as well be learning as well. And so I noticed that she's been paying attention because she knew the moves already. But it gave my heart so much joy.
That's right.
To know that I can afford to expose my children, that I don't have to use some excuses. Now, their older sister, she wants to go to Juilliard.
School.
Performing arts school.
Oh,
She also wants to go to USC. She wants to be an actress. Now, I know that the odds are low, but people make it.
right.
So if that's the case, why not my daughter?
Right.
But I don't want to allow the limitations of my finances to dictate what she, is exposed to, the opportunity she has in life. So I called the school up, asked them, what is the process? How much does it cost? And I discovered it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. A lot of times we just have this concept in our minds that, things are just, out of reach. It's over $50,000 a year. But, I can handle that.
That's right.
But I want my daughter to be able to do what she wants to do to pursue these passions. Now, I subscribe to a different mindset. Some people don't even make that income a year. But you know what? I just have to work harder. If I don't have it now, I know I can schedule for it. I can plan for it. So therefore, I know what I need to do. I'm not shooting at an empty target. So therefore, I have a goal in mind, and that's what I'm working on. So as I'm building, my goal is large. So I want to serve some other people to achieve their goal. Even though this person may want $5,000 a month, because of the power of this business, they can't even stay at $5,000 a month.
Right.
They may start at $5,000. Is that right, Brother Paul?
That's right.
They may just want a house, but then they live in $1 million house. Have $1 million lifestyle. Because why? Because it begins with a desire. The word of God said he will bless you beyond your imagination, what you could think or imagine. That's because all you need to do is have an imagination to begin. Once you begin the process, you can't turn it off. Why would you? But you have to commit to it. You have to commit to it. If people cannot initially commit, it doesn't mean that they don't care. More often it means that they do care, and they're caught up in the process of doubt. Get this point right here. This process precedes every meaningful commitment. Effective leaders act on this process so that the critical mass of people can pass through this stage efficiently on their way to genuine commitment and innovative strategies. That's key because most people are so conditioned to doubt. They don't want to believe. They want something more than what they have. But they want to have confidence what they're going to do really works. That's the power of success stories through our JMG business. That's why we edify the leaders, to let people know that this thing is real. This thing works. Because too often people get exposed to things that aren't real, aren't genuine, aren't legit. So then they go through this process. But you have to begin to recognize the signs. That's one of the greatest things that you learn by actually working and doing your JMG business, is you begin to learn people. People will say one thing, but then do something entirely different. And I'm used to, being a man of my word. So if I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. So again, my thought process is that if you tell me you're going to do something, you're going to do it.
Right.
But I had to really pay attention to this, because people will say one thing and do something different. It's because they're stuck going through the process of doubt. And if you don't recognize that, you may lose them. And that's what happens. Because there's been a number of times when individuals have started this business, quit the business, to go work another business like this. And I'm sitting there like, what? What's the difference? Now, they still ain't making no money in that other business, but they excited about it, but they didn't get excited about this one. I can't understand it. That's just the nature of some people. But that becomes a pattern. No matter where they go, there they are. They do the same thing over and over again. But then, when I read this, I understood better that maybe I didn't really help them through that process of doubt. That I assumed that they were actually committed when they really weren't committed. So therefore, when they didn't follow through with what they said they were going to do, and I didn't follow up on it, I lost them. This pre-commitment process is the same for team leaders and members. When we ponder new commitment, we climb up to a kind of mental diving board. Commitments contain unknowns, and some warn of possible failure. It is common for people to neither jump nor climb back down the ladder, but rather to stay stuck at the end of the board, immobilized in pros, cons, obstacles, and worries. In this state of mind, the obstacles begin to rule, obscuring the vision, blunting motivation. People want to have confidence. People want to have their questions answered. They want to feel comfortable about jumping. And if you don't understand that they're stuck on the end of that board because they're going through the process of doubt, and maybe their words are telling you, oh man, I'm going to blow this thing up. I'm going to do this. But in the back of the mind, they go through the pros and cons. And then they stay stuck there. As a leader, you have to begin to recognize that pattern. You have to put them to work right away for them to actually demonstrate their commitment. That's why we have the first things first. That's why we have the business plan. We're supposed to follow that formula, so therefore we understand that if they're willing to do what we're asking them to do in the first things first, then that commitment becomes greater. Because if they're not even willing to sit down with you to take the time to go through that first things first, write their list of names, pay attention to that. Because know as soon as they leave your presence, they're going through this process of doubt. So the initial response may have been excitement, but still that is short-lived. Because when they leave your sight, then they got all that negativity that's coming in. All those people, those naysayers telling when they going to work, that second guessing themselves, that conversation that we have within our minds, will talk us in and out of a situation in a blink of an eye. All of that is going on. So therefore, you have to deepen the commitment, just like the grooves of a record. You have to deepen that and ingrain that in their mind, that you know what, this is the solution. This is the business for you. I'm here to help you, to assist you. So therefore, then they're not out on that limb all by themselves. When leaders do not understand the commitment process, they tend to seek accountability without providing support. Without a means to process doubts and fears, people often feel pressure to commit, but can't. One option, often unconscious, is to pretend to commit, to say yes and mean maybe at best. The solution to this set of problems is twofold. Establish an atmosphere of trust, and within that atmosphere, encourage inclusion. 3, trust. Trust is an antidote to the fears and risks attendant to meaningful commitment. Trust means confidence in team leadership and vision. When trust prevails, team members are more willing to go through a difficult process, supported through ups, downs, risks, and potential loss. Trust is most efficiently established when leadership commits to vision first, and everyone knows the commitments are genuine. The process for leaders to commit is the same as for everyone else. Assess pre-commitment doubts, questions, unknowns, and fears. This involves 3 simple steps. List the unknowns. Assess worst-case scenarios and the survivability. Research the unknowns. It amazes me how people so focus on what won't work rather than what will work, or what is working. They'll come up with all kinds of scenarios. Well, what if this don't happen? Well, what if this don't happen? What if I cross the street and I get hit by a semi? What if you don't wake up in the morning? What if? But what if it works? What if you're willing to do the work? Because we already know it works. We see the results. But Can you see it for yourself? The list of unknowns reveals some answers and further questions. Some of these questions lend themselves to research, others experience a small pilot plan, and some have no apparent answer from our pre-commitment position. These latter compromise the bottom line in irreducible risk. We learn the outcome only after commitment. Every major commitment contains some irreducible risk, some lingering unknowns. We therefore make every major commitment in at least partial ignorance. I see the end from the beginning, period. And I don't waver because of the first sign of struggle, period. No matter what I've done in the course of my life. Some have worked, some have not. But again, every commitment has some partial ignorance. You don't know. You're doing the unknown because you're expecting the unknown. See, I've never earned and lived a $1 million lifestyle, but the desire was there, so I had to step out on some ignorance, not knowing it because I never experienced it. But you can't be afraid of the unknown.
That's right.
That's where faith comes in. That's why that scripture, I really had an issue with it until this morning when it was revealed to me that it's faith that you have to sit down and consider. Because a God-given vision is only God-given if it's beyond your own ability. So if you sit down counting the cost and you don't see within your own ability how you want to finish the project, or if you sit down and you count the cost and you can see how you want to finish the project because you have all the resources already in hand, you don't need God.
It's not free, right?
Just go do it. But how many people have read that scripture and use it as an excuse why not to move? Oh, the word said that a wise man will sit down and count the costs to make sure I have enough to finish the project. Well, I don't have enough, so why start it? No, the revelation came this morning. What it's talking about is whether or not you have the faith to finish, whether or not you have the commitment to finish, whether you have the ability within yourself to deal with all the objection and negativity that other people are going to project on you while you're going through this process of working on this project. Are you going to be able to finish? Because if you count the cost and you have what's necessary, then you begin the process. God will send you the natural resources that you need in order to complete it. But if you don't have the wherewithal, the commitment, the faith and trust, then the first sign of struggle, you'll give up. You'll quit. You'll abandon the project. That's what it's talking about. Leadership now understands the potential loss and gain involved in a new vision. At this point, leadership can commit itself and prepare to include other team members. That preparation must include a plan for leadership to share visibly both risk and reward with the other team members who will be coming on board. With leadership, commitment to a clear vision, and genuine plan to share risk and rewards, the atmosphere for trust is the place. We are now ready to include others in our team effort. We're building a strong team through strong leadership. You have to develop yourself as leaders. Don't sit back and be in the shadows of somebody else. You have everything within yourself in order to develop to become a strong leader. How do I know that? Because you're sitting here this morning, and I'm telling you that. And if you weren't, you wouldn't be hearing that. Just that simple. Or inclusion. Inclusion means getting others to commit to the team effort. See, last Wednesday taught on, you can touch me, but you can't kill me. The man at the pool of Bethesda sat there for 38 years. He had everything within himself, but he stayed in his affliction for 38 long years. And when he received his healing, he didn't even step in the pool. All he needed to do was step out on his faith, the word from Jesus. Do you desire to be made well? That's all it took, was a desire. So if you desire to be wealthy, what you need to do is you need to step out on that word and then be willing to do some action. He had to stand up and take up his bed, something he had never done before. He always depended on other people. You need to rise up and take up your bed. Take your rightful place within this business, within this company. So inclusion means getting others to commit to the team effort, helping others through their diving board doubts to genuine commitment. Since leaders now understand this process firsthand, we need to only communicate with the potential team members to complete inclusion. The best setting to obtain buy-in and build trust is in the small groups that facilitate thorough give and take. The basic tasks are to communicate the vision, make sure it is understood, communicate leadership commitment, including sharing risk and reward, and how to listen and address people's doubts. Now get that for inclusion. So you want people to take ownership of the vision, to buy in. That's the only way that you're going to get people to really commit. Child speaks on it all the time. Know your people's why. Why are they building their business? Because you can hold people accountable. Well, you said that you were doing this for your family. You said that you wanted to be able to take vacations. You wanted this certain lifestyle. You wanted this certain income. So what changed? Because you spoke to a few people that told you no? You gave them the power to change their mind? Then that truly wasn't a commitment. Let me just tell you a secret today. Every path to success is paved with folks saying no. People doubting you. The only way that you're able to give the testimony how you overcame is by overcoming it. It's that simple. And if you don't overcome it, guess what? You won't have a testimony to share. You won't experience that level of success. It's that simple as well. Because in learning how to overcome is the difference between success and failure. Leaders will need 3 communication skills to achieve inclusion. These are non-assumptive questions, good listening, and directed response. Non-assumptive questions: what do you think? Can you tell me what is happening with this report? Invite real answers because they are inclusive, not intrusive. Questions containing assumptions: why are you skeptical? Why is this report so incomplete? Invite defensiveness. When converting an atmosphere of change and possibly skepticism to trust, adding defensiveness is counterproductive. Remember, we are co-laborers. We are business owners. You are not an employee. So if your why is not real to you, then who am I to question? I just want to know what changed. What did you allow to steal your vision, steal your joy? Listening means separating the process of taking the information from the process of judging it. Keep separate. Both processes are valuable, mixed, especially when the receiver is a designated leader. The sender is invited to stop communicating or to change the message midstream. Okay? Direct response. Effective team leaders demonstrate responsiveness. Some leaders have already processed their own pre-committed commitment doubts. Many questions can be answered on the spot. Some require research and a timeline for response, and some, which relate to the bottom line, irreducible risk, require a truthful, I don't know. I'm in the same soup as you. So therefore, people will come to you with questions, doubts, but as a leader, you have to learn how to be intrusive, to allow them to express it, but then you come back with something that is positive, something that is real, something that is genuine, to let them know that, you know what, I understand, but we ain't gonna stay stuck there. We're gonna move forward. Because how many of you know that people will try to pull you into their nightmare? Because they want some company. Because what they're doing isn't working for them, and they don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you prospering. So therefore, they want to try to shed some negativity on what you're doing because they see it working. So therefore, we don't entertain those type of conversations. We always want it to be forward moving. But listen, but then don't go there. Jesus listened to the man at the pool. He asked him a question. Do you want to be made well? The man started out with some excuses. Well, you know, when I get ready to move down, somebody moves in front of me. You know, people just keep pushing me out the way. He came with the excuses. Jesus didn't get into excuses. Well, I understand. You know, I feel sorry for you. He listened to the man, told the man, get up, walk, take up your bed. That's what we need to do as leaders. Because people will always try to throw up on you. Okay? But we need to say, okay, all that happened, but you know what? We ain't focused on that. We focus on the yeses. We focus on the ones that do come to the meeting. I tell you now, if you come to the meeting and your guests don't show up, don't be sitting there complaining about your guests ain't show up. And you got other people that got guests in the room and they hearing that negativity on the corners. Just be quiet. Because they're saying, well, if they're having a hard time, I'm going to have a hard time. Now, you just planted the wrong thought in somebody's mind. Because who knows where your mind or your guest mindset is. Obviously, it ain't about making money because they didn't come to where they can find out how to make money. So we don't worry about those that don't show up. We thank them because that's an indication. They're not willing to commit. If they're not willing to commit, they're not going to be the ones that help you to create this wealth. So never get pulled into it. Mm-hmm. Number 5, help exchange. The final step in creating a team is to establish a cooperative, balanced strategy for reaching the committed vision. This plan will consist of all the tasks and help exchange necessary or the exchange necessary to realize the overall vision. Our teammates themselves are in the best position to supply this information. Since by this time you have laid the groundwork for trust and established good buy-in, your teammates are likely to be enthusiastically cooperative. At this point, the leadership role is to act, not to issue orders. Consensus means that team members agree to whether they necessarily agree with a particular approach. Consensus occurs easily when most people feel their ideas were heard and considered. Whether or not the team ultimately chooses those ideals, obtaining consensus again requires use of leadership, communication skills, non-assumptive questions, good listening, and directed response. We know what works. We already have a system in place that works. Mm-hmm. People will come in and try, well, I think, let's try it. I hear you, but let's do what works. Okay? Don't reinvent the wheel if it's working. That just creates frustration. Now you have to experiment. Now you have to go through the process that we've already gone through to discover what works. Just do what works. So effective teams often produce lively discussions of divergent viewpoints before reaching consensus. Diverse views can mean unresolved argument, or they can mean increased team intelligence and ultimate consensus. The difference is a well-built team. Again, I'll listen, but I'm going to tell you what works. And I hope that you listen and you apply it. Because if not, then I understand that you're not going to be part of the team. Because you're going to always be trying to prove your point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're always going to be trying to, show that your system is better than the system we got going. So that creates division. That means we ain't going nowhere fast. When the people are speaking the same language, there's nothing that's impossible for those people to accomplish. That's what we want to create, a culture and environment of all of us speaking the same language. Because we want to build this system. We want to build our wall. We want to build $1 billion company. So we just want some like-minded people that's gonna go the distance. Now that's it for me. The next individual I want to bring up is an individual I have a ton of respect for, love for, because he is a man of his word, a man of integrity that does what he says he's going to do, even beyond what he says he's going to do. Go figure. But it's an individual that I've learned from, you know, even expanded my mindset. And I'm one and I'm out the atmosphere. And for another individual, you know, to expand my mindset is someone that I can definitely, you know, listen to, respect, and follow because I value his opinion because, again, he's a man of his word, a man of integrity, and a man of this house. And y'all give it up for Brother Paul Jones. All right.
I'll give it up for Brother William. He breaks it down in a way that it just makes sense. Y'all feeling good?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Y'all ready to make money?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's once you've done this, excuse me, for so many years, y'all know this is all it is. It amazed me when Child wrote that up there. I had to, you know, blast it out because that's all it is. And sometimes you get that bone and you need to suck on that bone. That was it, child. That was it. You know, and I look around, I'm like, I wonder if they actually got it this time. And, you know, I've been doing trainings for years, and I've always said, look around. You won't see some of the people later. And y'all witnessed that from throughout the summer and all of that. And what I've understood is that a lot of times, you know, as we hear the word of God, it talks about knowledge and wisdom is what creates wealth. And when you are going to give the knowledge and wisdom, and people don't actually want the knowledge and wisdom, then there can't be wealth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we get, thank you, brother. Like, let me drink this. I ain't think I had a frog in my throat. We got to understand certain things. Unlimited income potential. We can say versus limited income potential. JMG, JOB. We just have to draw the line sometimes and realize that that's what we're really talking about. So when we gather the concept that what you're doing here has unlimited resources, most people spend the majority of their time in a limited side of life versus an unlimited side. But if you really listen to what they're saying, the things that they're saying are based on an unlimited lifestyle. So we already can see that it's not matching up. So we know that people work on average 40 to 50 hours per week. But I've always taught the 24/7 scenario, which is 168 hours. You pay bills, right? If your income is only coming in at 40 to 60 or 50 hours a week, but you're spending 168 hours a week, when people tell me, oh, I'm good at balancing my budget, I'm good at this, I'm like, that's not, you're not even making sense to me. Your income must be on an unlimited scenario. So therefore, you would have to be getting paid 168 hours, if you get this, a week, money is coming into you. So now you can write this down as I just go over some numbers because I don't want to erase and write and erase and write. And some of you can pull out your calculator and just help me with these numbers. But let's just say, for mathematical reasons, you really focused on what Charles showed you, your 3 people. You got your 3. You sat down with them, you defined them, you loved them. You got them to understand that you and them 3 are a team and this is about business. So you make sure they get their 3. And so on. So let's say there's 2,000 people. And let's say you're at the senior director level because no one should stay there. So you got the senior director, and let's just do it from that scenario. Now let's say everybody gets it. And while we all should have 10 customer points, let's say they only have 5. So if you go 2,000 times 5, and I want you to see the big picture, and let's say they're all on even your 7th level where you're getting 7%. So 2,000 times 5 times 7%, or you got to do that times the $30 times 5 times 7%. So you're somewhere in the $25,000 to $27,000 a month range. If y'all did math, 21 or 2,000 times 30 times 5, which is 5 customers, because 2,000 people average 5 customers, times 7%, which you're receiving off of. That's not counting the lifestyle bonus. That's not counting the luxury trip. That's not counting the Escalade, because it's 2,000 people. Y'all get this? You got all these other perks. And I'm just saying, just look at the monetary value of you working an unlimited income potential system, and then while you're focused and put your time in. What is that number? Did anybody do the math?
21,000.
So you have $21,000 a month.
Wow.
You're not making a car payment. You're not paying for a vacation. Now, $21,000 a month plus another $1,500 a month. So now you're $22,500, right? $22,500 times 12 is what? 22,500 times 12 equals what? 270,000 a year. Every 4 years, you ink $1 million. Unlimited income potential. So now, you make $250,000 a year. What stops you? Who bothered you enough? Who stood you up enough? What made you not go make $250,000 a year? Now let's say, okay, everything didn't hit your 7th level. Let's say you got 1,000 ST codes, you built it, you promoted to ESD, you got that going. Now let's just say, now you do the same math. And because it's unlimited levels that you get paid off of, now do the same math and say 2,000 times 4%. For 2,000 people, only had their service on. I'm going to show you how simple and basic this is. 2,000 people times 30 times 4%. To like 2,000? 2,400 a month. 2,400 a month plus lifestyle bonus, 15. So now you're 3,900. That's not counting your 7th level. That's not counting your fast start money of 50, 50, 50, 50, 75, 75, 75, 50, 75, 50, 75. It's not counting that. That's saying you now make $60,000 to $70,000 a year you still got a car. You still got a lifestyle bonus. You still got a vacation. Where's the confusion? And if you're using the service the way you should be using the service, you have impeccable credit. Your identity is protected. Your debt management is probably resulting you into being debt-free, and you get the best benefits out of taxes. You are truly a wealthy individual. Now, time goes on, and everyone gets one. Let's say every quarter, not every month, not every week, every quarter. So if you make $2,400 a month and you double that quarter, you see that? It's 4 months went by and somebody quit, or somebody signed up somebody else, and somebody went and they got one more person. Now you're $5,000. Then they just went ahead and got another one. Now you're $7,500. Next quarter, now you're $10,000. Now keep in mind, this is one customer, unlimited growth potential. You're sitting back $12,000, $15,000 per month. Everyone's averaging one customer. And let's say JMG decides to add another product. And that product value gets everybody up to average, oh, I got to get to my 5 points. I got to get to my 5 points. You instantly grow over 30 to 40,000 a month the next quarter. I would rather spend my time working on something that's going to grant me unlimited income potential than spending time on something that has limited income potential. That means those who operate on this side are going to blame presidents. They're going to blame congressmen. They're going to blame mothers and fathers. They're going to play the blame game. They're going to sit at the pool of Bethesda for 38 years and say, nobody will help me. And they'll get angry at wealthy people. And when a wealthy man says, well, can I write a book and show you how I did it? They'll say, well, that's easy for you to say. I had a guy say that to me on the radio, you know, you're doing all this thing, promoting the book, and the guy calls in, well, it's easy, I do, it's real. These cats, these millionaire cats get on the phone and they all saying what it's like, but cats out here struggling. And then I just said, and I talk. I said, I appreciate the brother's passion, but now let's get him to understand that when my daughter was born, I worked at Taco Bell. I had no money in the bank. Matter of fact, my checking account was negative. She didn't have a baby crib. And I never said these millionaire cats get on the phone and tell me how to get out of my problem, and I'm mad at them. And I said, now, I don't mean it, because you're on circular radio, I don't mean to throw God into it, but the word of God says, when you are able to forgive others, you'll be able to forgive yourself. And when you're able to forgive others in whatever condition that your mindset is in, you also free yourself and you start seeing your full God-given gifts, talents, and abilities. And you stop looking for a handout. So therefore, while you are going through something, you have to open your eyes and you'll see that there's a gift. And I say, now he's very proficient in his words. He speaks very clear with passion. What I just heard from was an attorney who didn't go to law school, a litigator who did not go in to the proper levels of litigation. And next thing you know, you give you applause. And I said, all I'm doing is saying, schedule your life better. Put yourself in a position. I mean, if you know how to talk and break somebody off and debate them, why ain't you an attorney? Sit down, fool. You just get to that point, and that's why I say, you know what? We have a system that says you can't cheat the system of life. You got a credit score whether you like it or not. Did you ask for a credit score? You turned 18. Did you tell the government, I just want to pay taxes? No, they just imposed that on you. The minute you were born, they said, okay, we got 18 years, his parents are going to pay for him, and then we leverage it. So then his mom and dad will be working, they got to pay taxes, even if they don't take care of them. Woo-hoo. Like a Sam getting happy. And then he turns 18 and now he has to pay into the system. And then he'll have offspring and they'll get to a certain age and they'll have to pay into the system. And then I say, do y'all see how the government gets paid? They get paid whether you like it or not. So why don't you go ahead and get paid whether you like it or not? See, you want to be in a position that if, God forbid, you pass away, the money does not stop. Why? Because if I look at my son and I look at my daughter, which it was my child coming in the world that made me snap out of it, to be honest with you. And that's why, because I love her so much, I look at others with children and I'm like, if you love your daughter like I love my daughter, you love your son like I love my son, then come on, let's go. Because this is for the family. That's why I said this is the life business. I don't want to live my whole life debating the system. What color is Jesus? I ain't got time for that. You know, who is the real children of Israel? I don't have time for that. Because we are here right now. And what I know is, my son is like, I don't know, Dad, but what I do know is I want to go to the Monster Jam. I want to go to the Vikings game. I'm not going to sit there and say, so you got to understand and keep it real. You know what? That is how you were oppressed in the first place. You know, we were in Dominican Republic last week. We were on Delta. Me and my daughter were walking, and I said, look over there, babe. She said, Dad, you got to hurry up and get yours. Because there was nothing but private jets over there. You could tell the big ballers. It's like big mob, Tony Montana looking dudes. And they had chicks walking with them, and I'm like, that's a mismatch. You paid, ain't you? That dude was here with a few of them. I just walked through and I'm with my wife and I'm like, shoot, I wouldn't want you. I ain't looking at her. You know what I'm saying, brother? Like,
You don't put me in there.
yeah, I'm saying, you know, you just gotta look down, look at the shoes, because you refuse to look at her. You know, and then I just look at him like, man, I know I look better than you. I know I look better than you. And then next thing you know, you can make you pull your stomach up. Just in case you look. Just in case you look, girl. And I'm like, you know what? They're living a life. There are people right now living a life that is crazy. And I'm like, the world it's just nuts out here. That's all I can say. I was in New York, and all you got to do is go down Park Avenue, and over there across the street from Central Park, where they got all these luxury condos. And you look at all the Rolls Royce Phantoms with the guy with the top hat. I want a Phantom for me to drive, let alone have a driver. And I'm just looking, and I don't look at it in a way to say, oh. I look at it in a way and say, they doing what we can do. And I'm like, wow, this is all confirmation. People with a victim mentality look at stuff because of a jealous spirit and get mad. People who understand who God is will look at people with good stuff and say, ooh, God is good. Because why? You understand a basic principle. God is no respecter of persons. And once you truly, that's why you cannot tell me you believe in my Heavenly Father and have a jealous spirit and lack integrity. You can't tell me that. It doesn't work together. And put yourself in a limited income potential and stay there when everything about God speaks about more than enough. And I'm not here to talk to y'all about God. I'm here to discuss business. I get my business education from the Bible. You know, the Colorado Institute of Art says I understand business too and gave me a little degree for it. But other than that, the real mastering and doctorate degree I got was from understanding a greater principle. So we ask you, I ask you, what do you want to do? See, 5 years ago, I said, I'm going to start my own deal. Prior to then, I had on my wall in my old office, you know, JMG Network. I put the companies that I was going to start on the wall. So it said Jones Marketing Group, and it had JMG Home Mortgage, JMG Real Estate, JMG Home Services, JMG Network, in the exact order that I was going to start them. And it's funny how the last shall be first and the first was last. The other ones don't exist. JMG Network was the last one. I was like, all right, God, let's go. 4 years ago, October 28th, we launched this company. So tomorrow is our 4-year anniversary, you know. And I look at it, and that's why when I came up in the beginning, I said, I look at what we were supposed to be, and I get some passion, because I ain't gonna get angry. I just like, okay, well, let's go then. And I say, wow, look at all those people who were there when we started, all their promises, all this and that, what they said they were going to do. And a lot of them fell off to the wayside. And I get to today and I say, you know what? It's a greater vision. Now, the number one thing people got to understand, a debt-free company. So if you have a debt-free company with a debt payout plan, I answer questions at the end. Other than that, when I'm talking, I don't want to be interrupted. The flow, get the flow, you understand, like that blood, I don't want my heartbeat to stop, you get me? You know, we got to tap into the vision and say, okay, how many people are y'all going to get on tomorrow night's conference call? So that they can hear, number one, we're a debt-free company. JMG Network is a debt-free company. Do y'all understand it? Debt-free companies don't go down. Do y'all understand? That's why I bring that up to you. JMG Network has passed that, you know, people say, well, you know, usually the first year, the first 2 to 3 years, they fail. We're not going nowhere. We're going global. Where will you be? I have a vision to do 5 million over the next year. That means individuals in this room must hit 6 figures per month. We have a compensation plan, and that's with the bonus dollars too, that justifies it. All we have to do is recognize unlimited income potential and not allow others to pull us back. Because think about it. If all you have to do is grab 3 people and tell them to do the same, what's the problem? People don't have financial problems. What do they have? Mental problems. A lot of times people say, well, I need to understand how the wealth or the debt payout plan works so I can better sell it. And I look at them like, you are already lost. I need to understand how taxes work. I'm like, okay. I'm like, no, you need to understand how people work. That's why most of our trainings are on understanding what makes people tick and motivating and inspiring people. When I have been in other companies, even there, they may have a little section where they say, here's the product, this is that. Next thing you know, you have to have tough skin. You know, I was reading a thing, I'm reading Deep Good in Steve Jobs' book. And it made me, reading this book made me go and understand other companies. And I had some joy. Do y'all know that Google, Microsoft, Walmart, as well as Apple, they never hit big into the 5th and 6th year? Do y'all know what that did to me once I was like, we just hit 4. And I'm like, oh my gosh. They all blew up at that point. Some of those guys even filed bankruptcy before then, but they kept going. If you go read the story of Hershey's, they filed bankruptcy 3 times. You go read the story of Walt Disney, filed bankruptcy 2 times. But now, when's the last time y'all had a, give me a break, give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Chocolate, you kind of get it. They're very, very successful companies today. Look how successful Google is. Who would have thought that that concept took 5 to 6 years before it actually hit? Look how successful, the biggest, most successful company in the world is Apple. It took them 5 to 6 years. the biggest store chain in the world. His family holds the number 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7 positions in the Forbes top 10 income earners, or top 400. Walmart. 5th, 6th year. So now, when you start something and you say, oh, it's not working, is that a mental problem? Because it definitely isn't a financial problem. We actually make things a financial problem. When you study and mentor executives and business leaders who have built billion-dollar companies, then you'll look at your system and say, well, we're growing. And I can see it growing and say, yeah, but they even took 5 and 6 years. I'm like, all right. What if I had stopped a year ago? I done went and started something else and been lying to myself saying that JMG thing didn't work. Now here's the good thing. What about those that stopped a year ago? That's what they say. Here's the crazy thing. This is why you that can hear me now need to go work even harder now. Those same people will come sign up later and say, well, I was in the beginning, but you know, they didn't have it like this now. They didn't have this service. They didn't have that service. I'm telling you now, one day, JMG Networks will also be the largest distributor of food. I've been working on that. I'll be beating down the walls, talking to major corporations. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. You will go, at least if it starts in the beginning, maybe on your dry goods, till we get to the frozen stuff. So you'll order your macaroni and cheese, your hamburger helpers, your ketchup, the stuff that don't need to go into the fridge. Well, think about it. The largest food company right now is what?
General Mills.
Walmart. General Mills is they distribute food. People go to the door to buy it at Walmart. So they're big, don't get me wrong. Well, you know, I've always said what's going to maintain us to be a great company is we always have to do something that is going to be relevant and not go in and out of style. Y'all get this? Taxes will always be relevant. Doesn't matter if it has this certain sizzle. You're going to have to pay taxes whether you like it or not, right?
Right.
Okay, credit. It's always going to be relevant. Why? Because whether you like it or not, you're going to have to deal with credit. Daily budgeting and being debt-free, whether you like it or not, you're going to always have to deal with that. So do you understand the core value of the company? So therefore, the next thing would be, well, what else? Child said it, you gotta eat. And I sit back and I'm like, you know, we'd already launched a food service thing, but I want to get the company to a certain level. Do you get that? We are dealing with people who say, Paul Jones, that's a great idea. You know, and then I'll ask the question, you know, in your first quarter, because once you understand when you're dealing in business on that level, what do you think you're bringing in the first quarter? And I'm like, I'm gonna hold off for a minute. I'm gonna go train the army a little more so that we will average those 5 customer points. You'll average that. Now all of a sudden, just because someone is gonna order food and buy food anyway, you have to get paid.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
So realize that being a part of JMG Net Worth right now, 5 years from now, people will look at Charles Polk Division when we're in that major stadium and this and that, and the average person, because I probably would not be training on Saturday mornings, if not, it would be a satellite like this in a private room, would not be able to come up and just shake my hand, would not be able to go up and shake William's hand, would not be able to go up and just shake Charles' hand. Y'all say, well, why is that? No, I was a top money earner in a $2 billion company. When I walked in the room, they took security with me. I didn't know what I was like. I don't need this dude. They said, yes, you will. Because I didn't get it. So you walk in the stadium and there's 20,000 people. And they say, that's Paul Jones. He did 100,000 last month. Everyone wants to know how. You walk in, I'm with my wife, I'm with my daughter, and boom, how did you do it? And I'm like, baby, and she's like, me and Nisha going over here. I'm like, I'm like, man, I just got 3 people. They're like, yeah, but it's got to be more than that. I'm like, no, I just got 3 people. And I'm like, and then they say, he has to get to the back. And I'm like, I didn't get it, but I got it later. And I'm like, why? Once you have done it, people was like, we got to do it. It's going to happen to y'all. Fred's going to walk in the room, and they're going to say, it's Fred. He's got this big organization. And then they're going to be like, Fred, I'm sorry. And people will be aggressive. They don't know it. They'll stop you. They'll grab your arm and touch you. That people mind, don't touch me. I'm like, you be like, man, let me go, what? And they say, man, and they instantly have the notepads out. Can you imagine when we get there? So you have to see it now and get excited for it. Then go back to work. So therefore, when we say we're now doing a tour and we're going on a company jet, I've already said I'm gonna get a jet. So people can be mad. I laugh when they say, well, those big corporate guys in their company jets, I'm like, I'm gonna be all right. I will be mad, but I'm gonna sure be up in one, Jack. You know, as a matter of fact, I was getting patted down. I said, go ahead and do it. You won't be doing this for long, not with me, Jack. They're like, why? Pretty soon I'm gonna be walking in to my home. You get the difference? Here's the difference. If you don't have a desire for that, I'm already talking over your head. If you don't have a desire for driving a car without a payment on it, I'm already talking over your head. If you don't have a desire to be financially set, to be able to look, like William said, he know his child is going to the school, he know his child is going into karate, and he didn't have to contemplate the financial side. If you don't get that, then he even spoke over your head. I'm talking about unlimited income potential. If you limit yourself, you never understood why Jesus came, let alone God, period. You're like, well, it's not all about money. Whatever. Limited, unlimited. It's all up to you. You have that. What I want, and I'm gonna play this quick video, and it's funny. Myself, William Child, we don't ever get together and say this is what you're gonna train, this is what this training. You know, when he started hitting on counting the cost, and that he realized that counting the cost basically is not counting the cost, it's really stepping out on faith. I was like, either you watch the video I'm about to play, or the spirit moved. And I'm like, because it's all stepping out on faith. But you have to make a commitment to get 3 qualified people on tomorrow night's call. Tomorrow night, I'm expecting to be, when I call Marquise and say how many was on that call, I want it to be the biggest call we've ever had in our company's history, because it is the 4-year anniversary. This Tuesday night, I'm coming to that meeting and I will be speaking at that meeting. Come at 6 o'clock because we're going to be serving food a little more than what you used to. So come to eat. Tell your guests I'm bringing you to dinner, and bring them to dinner. We're going to eat from 6 to 7:30. 7:30 we start in that joint. We get out of here at 9. So tell them, business professional attire. We're going to celebrate. I'm excited. My baby's 4 years old, and I'm celebrating the ones who are here for the 4-year anniversary, not the ones those who get it will be there this Tuesday night. Call your boss and say, look, I got to get off Tuesday. I got to get off this Tuesday. Sorry. Call your people and say, yo, you need to be there this Tuesday. See, I'm excited. I might even bring my kids. I'm so excited about it. You know, I'm like, y'all got to see this. This is where we're going. This is the future for all of us. And I'm hoping I'm with some people who are not here just to see how this is going to work. You know, there are people who quit on Bill Gates. There are people who quit on Steve Jobs. There is a guy who told Sam Walton that he would never be bigger than Ben Franklin, which was the company he worked for prior. Look at history. I'm the type that I pruned this last year. I cut ties with anyone who had a hidden agenda of saying, well, I'm in it for the wrong reason. And now I'm one with all the believers, because the only way for, and it's funny, you know people who understand business and don't. You never expect a business to succeed if you're not putting your seeds in with the elbow grease. It doesn't work that way. When you're in a business that is to grow, you have to get in there and help the business grow. That means you yourself have to get your 3 people and be committed to help those 3 people get their 3 people. And then get them to understand if one of them is flaking out, that's fine, get rid of them. In the real business world, you fire them, right? You gotta let them go. You'll be moving on and go. If you don't have a vision for a certain lifestyle, then you're gonna always let something get in the way of Saturday training. You'll always let something get in the way of Tuesday night meetings. You're always, it's inevitable. I don't care what the excuse is. You know, that's why some of y'all see it. I'm at my son's football game, I'm running here, and I got sweatpants on and all that. Y'all like, is he about to go train? That's all the company. He looking like he was running. I'm like, why? I understand my vision. I spent the time with him, but I know this is the bigger picture. We have founding members in this company. It started with 10. 3 are active today. Y'all get that? If those 10 individuals, and let me tell you how simple it was. The whole plan was simple. 10 people go out and build a group of 50 people. And then have the 50 people average 1 person a month. Doesn't that seem simple? But then you have one had a problem with a wife. Another one moved away. Another one's like, it's not happening fast enough. And everything that they would say are like, it's because you're not doing it. Because you're not doing it. Because you're not doing it. And I'm like, are you for real? And I'm like, it hit me. They have never actually made $1 million before. And people have never actually truly, from works, made $1 million. Sometimes don't understand that it actually takes work. So they'll tap into the dream thinking that I'm going to do all the work. I'm the visionary. I put it together. I went and connected all these dots with all these major corporate individuals who are looking at us right now to say, all right, Paul, you just let us know. You want to start distributing food? Because you know what I tell them? I have the audacity to tell companies 10 times the size of ours, 100 times the size of ours, that I will be a bigger distributor than Cub Foods and Rainbow Foods for you. And they look at you like, well, that's a pretty big statement. You're right. For us to be $1 billion company, if LifeLock alone can be $1 billion company and they don't compensate anyone for sale, then I know we can be $1 billion company because we compensate people for the sale. Do y'all get this? So you gotta want it more than you can breathe. I'm gonna play this video and then we'll go on and get going. Tuesday night, y'all know to pack the house, right?
Oh, yeah, sir.
Y'all sure? Tomorrow night's conference call, hack it. Creating momentum is totally up to you to do it.
Gotta live till my turns off. Now I'm here, I cannot go soft. I find myself when the rest got lost. I'll be the last when the day right on. I gotta live till my turns off. But now I'm here, I cannot go soft. I found myself when the rest got lost. I'll be the last when the day right on.
And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Often you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You're going to die at the end of pain and success. You're not going to die because you're feeling no pain. That's exactly where I want to be. Because I realized I got to commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta do it, I gotta sleep it. Until you get there, you'll never be successful.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, E.T. Look, man, I'm getting frustrated, man. Like 100, man, I'm getting tired, man. Everywhere I go, right? Everywhere I go, I see it. Everywhere I go, I see it. Like, for real, this ain't no gimmick. I mean, I'm going to corporations. Everybody's starting off with this guru story, right? Football program, basketball program, swimming program. Listen to me. Everybody and their mom, look, everybody and their mama talking about when you want to succeed is bad. And while I'm appreciative that people are using the message, like this ain't no gimmick, y'all. Like this ain't no saying. Like this ain't something you say just to be saying. Like, nah, is getting out of control because people are losing the essence of the message. Like everybody talking about when you want to succeed, but then you'll be successful. Like when you go back to the very first video, I was doing this for a reason. Like I wasn't trying to blow up. Like I wasn't trying to make money. As a matter of fact, that video went up by accident. Listen to me very closely. When I did that video, I wasn't talking to people who had 2 or 3 chances. Are you hearing me? I wasn't talking to people who had 2 and 3 options. I was talking to a group of students from Detroit, from Flint, from Muskegon, from Saginaw. Listen to me closely. I was talking to a group of students that if they didn't take care of their responsibilities, if they didn't take advantage of the moment, if they didn't seize the moment, it was over. I wasn't talking to people who have options, who have opportunity. Like this ain't a mantra. This ain't something you just put on your computer. All right, so I'm gonna give you 3 things because I want you to understand it, because when you can understand it, like I live this. I live this. It's not just, listen to me, it's not just a saying. I live this. So number 1, when the guru, when he took him underwater, right? When he put him under the water, he brought him up. He wasn't saying like this is a behavior, y'all. He wasn't saying if you do this and you do that and you do this and you do that, you'll be successful. No, what he was saying to him was, this is a mentality. Like you gotta live this. You gotta eat this. You got every single thing you do. It's a mentality. Okay, so what do I mean? Because I got to get you to go from behavior to mentality, because I told you before, I studied great people, millionaires and billionaires and people who succeed in what they do. And I realized the difference is it's not a behavior. It's not something that they do. It's not something that they get to when they want to. It's not a feeling. Some of y'all, for real, you still on feelings. When you feel like doing it, you do it. When you don't feel like doing it, you don't. And so for you, it's a feeling, right? It's a feeling. For them, it's a mentality. It's a way of life. It's what they eat. It's what they sleep. It's what they drink. It's who they are. It possesses them. And the guru was telling him, when mentally you want it, in your spirit, in your soul, when you want it, it will happen. So number 1, it's not a behavior. Behavior is this. New Year's, you're going to lose this much weight. You're going to get the 6-pack, right? You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And you're good in January. And by February, you start slowing down. And by March, you ain't doing it no more. Why? Because it was a behavior. If it was the way you thought, if it was here, it would be on a whole other level. So do me a huge favor. Understand, it's not a cute saying. It's not a cute saying. It is a way of life. It's got to possess everything you do. It's got to own you. You understand what I'm telling you? Number 2, listen to me very closely. When you get to this point, you don't count the cost. Now, I got mamas calling me, my baby ain't going to sleep. Like, my baby staying up 24 hours. My baby, listen to me. This ain't for the weak and the uncommitted, okay? So, mama, if they need to cut it off, tell them to cut off when you want to succeed. And don't watch it no more. But mama, it ain't no middle ground, mama. You either here or you're there. There's no middle ground. And so what I'm telling you is that you can't count the cost. When you want something bad, you can't count the cost, because if you count the cost and you see how much it costs, you might quit, you might give up. So you got to go in knowing that I don't count the cost. I'll do as many push-ups as it takes, as many sit-ups as it takes, as many reps as it takes. I study as long as it takes. I pay whatever the price is. Why? Because if I start counting the cost, I might quit, I might give up, I might surrender. Don't count the cost. You don't count the cost on this one. This one is, listen to me, you don't count how many breaths you take. You don't count it. You get to a point where you don't count it. You just do whatever it takes to get whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to say it again because you got to catch what I said. You don't count the cost on this one. You don't count the cost on this one. You just do what you got to do on this one, and then you look back when it's all over and you see the rewards. You look back and you see the accomplishments. You don't count it. You just look back and you see that you succeeded. You hear me in the last one. I want to read this one to you because I don't want to mess it up. Somebody sent it to me this deep. It says, only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Are you hearing me? Only those who are willing to risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Look, you got to want it as bad as you want to be. And you can go further than you think. Listen to me, you went 3 and you got 6 years. But you're accustomed to 3, you're accustomed to 4. I challenge you to push it to all the years you got. Give it everything you got. Listen to me. Go. You think I thought I was going to write a book? You think I thought I was going to be an author? Do you think I thought I was going to be marching this year with a PhD? Do you think I thought I would be traveling the world, NFL, NBA? Do you think I thought I would be doing this as a high school dropout, as somebody that was home? Do you think I thought I would go this far? But I pushed it. I said, I want to see how far I can go. I want to see what I can accomplish. I want to see what I can do, what I can be, what I can have. I want to see. I don't want to see what I think I can do. I don't want to see what I think is possible. I want to see what my life would look like if I didn't count the cost, and if I was willing to go further than anybody else was willing to do. If I had the mentality that Eric, you gotta want it. You gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. And I woke up, and here I am. And so listen to me. This ain't no gimmick.
Get it? You gotta want it more than your actions are showing. This is real. I want y'all to play the win. So we are at a special point in our company. You know what I mean? It's as real as that. We are at such a point where millionaires are going to be created right now from JMG Net Worth. But it's all based on what you decide to do. So some people are going to sit back and wait. You're going to watch William, you're going to watch Child, you're going to watch Fred. You're going to sit back and be like, well, yeah, I was in. And I'm going to be looking at you and say, but they're no better than you. They showed up to the training. The difference is they worked hard to get in front of the room. They actually scheduled to train. They actually have to take their time. Here's the difference I want you to recognize. You know, even I have to get up early enough to come in and set all this stuff up. At the end, people help me set it up and put it on the car. But when I come in, I load it all by myself, set it up all by myself, get going, get the donuts, get everything, get Freddy's blueberry muffins. Then I can sit back and be ready to roll. But there's some that's just too busy to even just take the energy to just say, well, if they're going to do that, I'm going to show up. If they're going to pay the company bills, they're going to do all of this other stuff, I'm going to show up. Then I'm going to receive the information to go out and take action on it. People are broke for no reason. That's my, you know, I'm going to get shirts made pretty soon. You know, just like I say, I'm blessed and I can't stop it. Everybody's going to be branded. If I can be working where you get a commission that says, I'm blessed and I can't stop it. We got to recognize that. And we got to go to another level. But here's the one thing I love about being free as a business owner. It is really up to us. There's nobody else in the way but us. So everything I looked at, I'm like, well, if we didn't hit this point, they're like, well, it was these uncommitted people who were in the way. Well, I don't blame them. Now I got to go ahead and commit even more. So if somebody drops off, I figure out a way to commit more. You get the difference? You got to want it with everything you got. So when I looked at that, he was like, man, you just got, because people say these sayings, and even when I get them to read my books and all that, and they come back and they say the sayings, and they're like, sometimes I'll be like, did you read the book? Because it's impossible. If you actually read my book and actually were doing it, then your schedule will be so that it would be like, boom, I'm sorry, this is where I'm going. You know, and there's a point in the book where it talks about ambushing your schedule, and don't let people ambush your schedule. If everyone, and it's amazing how so many people, even in our company, don't even have the book. We on ABC, we in major magazines, Sister to Sister magazine, the Word Network is coming up, Lift Every Voice on BET is coming up. I'm gonna be on all that stuff. And if you look at the ABC one, on everything I've done, I talked about JMG Net Worth. Everything, I do it on purpose because we're gonna become $1 billion company. So therefore, you the individual, when you're with people, and I'm saying on a national TV show, yeah, I run JMG Net Worth. And then all of a sudden you can come in a meeting or get on the phone with me to call that person. Now that blows them away. And I'm saying, let's use every tool we have. I'm ready to take us to another level. I'm also myself out recruiting. Y'all like, you are? Oh yeah. I'm like, we're gonna be $1 billion company. So I already know how to build a big downline. I've already shown people. Now I've got people. I signed up people in the company last week. Yeah. It's like, and I'm gonna help them keep building. And every time I sign up someone new, and then they call somebody else, and I'm like, I'm no better than anyone else. See, I'll never have an ego because I let the word of God always keep me in check. You are no better than anyone else. So therefore, if you sign someone up and someone else didn't, then there's something to go along with that schedule. There's someone making that call, that extra call, something going out and shaking a person's hand and talking to them and say, hey, I got something I'd love for you to take a look at. There's something about explaining the 4 elements to wealthy people. That's what you have. You have the blueprint to success. Because people want to talk about investments, they want to talk about buying this and buying that, but if they don't understand the core blueprint, they'll lose everything anyway. I know from experience. That's why we have this. So I'm saying, you know what? I know y'all got busy schedules. I know you got a lot going on. You have to get people committed to tomorrow night's conference call, okay? Okay. Then Tuesday, don't wait to sign up Tuesday. Start signing people up today, tomorrow, and Monday. Get them to have their guests and have them to have their guests be there Tuesday. So we can have the balloons, the streaming everything, the shake hands. You know, I'm gonna put my nice suit on, I'm gonna look good, I might go get me a haircut. You know, it's gonna be there. We are a family. We are a family that is committed to building a billion-dollar company. And I'm not afraid to go for it. As many are, as that person asked me, it's like, well, why is that so important to you? I'm like, I don't have to answer that question. It's what I'm going to do. You don't ever answer to an adversary. You just go do it. God bless.
We're gonna be still
Right.
at the same location Tuesday.
Same place.
Yep, I'm glad.
Well, you got me so excited about what you were saying that I still haven't figured out what the product is or what I'm trying to get the. This is my first time here.
You know,
This is my first time ever coming.
but in the future, y'all know reps only.
Reps on right.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm here to trade reps, so you have to get who brought you in and
Oh, okay.
go over that.
Oh, okay, so that's where
Okay, yeah.
that's where I was with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Easy to say. Bless you, boy.
Yeah.
And I will be going to the office.
Yeah, you will be.
Thanks, bro.
Yes.